Hello everybody, Ken Faulkner, knife video today. I'm talking about a butt knife I just bought that was very surprising. And after I bought that knife and was thinking about doing this video, I found something else that was very surprising. And the knife that I bought that started it all off here is a buck. Edge of a Legend buck knife. Now this knife here that's in this box is, I'm gonna get it to, there we go, we're focused. This knife that's in this box is a USA made knife, and we all know USA knives are known for being a little more pricey. But I was watching what's the channel? I was watching a channel, I'll think of it in a second, and they were talking about this knife, and they were talking about how it was USA made and that it was under $50. Under $50. And I thought that was really, really impressive. And when I got to take a look at the knife, and this is the packaging, it's nothing fancy. Made in USA. Got the flag on it. Buck knives. Now, not all buck knives are made in the USA, but this one was. And this one is the Buck Spitfire. And it is a very nice looking aluminum handled knife. The blade steel on it is a 420 HC. And I guess the HC stands for high carbon. So it's not like one of your normal steels you see in a lot of modern knives, but it's something I think Buck has used for years, and they did a real good job with this one. That's an interesting looking pocket clip, something a little bit different. I like to get a knife that's a little bit different than things that all the other knives that I have. You know, sticks out a little bit. And this blade is very cool as well. It's got kind of a recurve to that blade right here, and I am very appreciative of that kind of shape. It's also a drop point. Now, I've had this one for a while, and you kind of see I probably should have cleaned it up a little bit before the video, but I have been using it, and I think it's a great knife. I mean, it's right there in that range. Boy, let me wipe this down a little bit. It's right there in that range of blade length. Not quite 3.5, which is what I normally would go for, but it's at least over 3 inch. But the handle fits really well in my hand, so I do like that. It's got a really good thumb ramp on it. This jimping is very different. You look at the way that jimping is done there. Get the focus. There we go. That jimping is kind of different on the sides here, but I can feel it. And there's jimping back here in the back, but I can feel it when I'm holding it in my hand. So it's adding to my grip, my ability to hold on to the knife. Now this one's similar to a lot of Spydercos where the clip can be put on 4 different positions. So if you like tip down or tip up, left side or right side, it's got all those options. So that's pretty cool. So when I got this knife, I just really wanted to let people know that there is a knife out there that you can get that's USA made, that's a budget range. $50, I consider that to be a budget knife. And all in all, I've been very impressed with it. It's got the kind of the brushed lines on the scales that look pretty nice. You see those. Now, some of the things that you may not like about this knife, but I don't mind so much, is that it's a back lock. So it's not the most fidgety in the world. I can do the one hand closing. The deployment is not, even though it has this finger, like a spidey hole type thing, you can't really flick it out. That back lock spring is just a little bit too strong to be able to do that. Now maybe over time I might be able to loosen it up a little bit, but I don't know. It's pretty tight. But you can get a nice thumb slow roll to open this knife, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not the fastest, not the most fidgety knife, but you know, you can get it open and closed one-handed, and that's really what's important as far as I'm concerned. And anyway, this is a real find, I think. Knife Delights. See, now my memory is not so good. I have like these things in my head, and it's like when you try, you know somebody's name, but you can't think of it, and it's just kind of floating around out there. And then all of a sudden you remember, Knife Delights is where I saw this knife. And I really like his channel, but my memory on the names and things like that isn't so good. But I did finally have that name pop into the memory banks. Knife Delights. He's the one that showed this knife, and I was pretty excited. I like this green backspacer here, a little pop of color in an otherwise very metallic looking blade. It's got the buck. It says USA right there. And yeah, great. So when I got this knife and was planning on doing the video, I was thinking, well, hey, you know, I'll just go through my collection and find USA made knives that I have in my collection. And if you saw, I did a video recently on Kubi knives, and I was surprised how few Kubi knives I had. But then I went to go look at USA made knives, and boy, did I find that I had a lot more than I thought that I had. You know, because the price is a little bit higher, and I've been more of a budget collector for quite a while, but I'll pay a little bit more every once in a while. So I didn't think I had quite this many, but look at what I got here. That's quite a wonderful pile of USA awesomeness. Another budget knife, and another brand that is very well known, although they do make a lot of their knives in China, is Kershaw. And this one is a very popular design. It's the Leak, and it is assisted opening, which is something that I feel is a bit of a downside for Kershaw. And a lot of people comment about that. Some people like the assisted opening. I'm not a big fan, but this is the Leak. And you can even see it has a little American flag there. Kin Onion design. And yeah, this one, I looked up the price recently because I bought this one a long time ago. I didn't know how much it was. But it was only like $51. So it's pretty close to the same price as that Spitfire. So that's not bad. And then again, the action's not going to be great for closing. Obviously, opening, it's going to be fine. But on the closing side, you really got to kind of, you can't drop it closed. You can't shake it closed. You really have to bring it all the way closed with your thumb. But you can do it one-handed. So, hey, that's all right, too. It's a great little knife, great little design. Let me see some of the other USA-made knives I got here. Now, I got some fixed blades. I got another buck. You've seen this one before if you've been watching my channel, or you've seen it from somebody else. That's the Buck 110. And you can see this one's been seeing some use. I like this knife. It's very solid. This one is definitely more of a two-handed type knife. I mean, I've actually managed to be able to open it one-handed. Closing, not so much, but it's definitely more difficult to open one-handed and close one-handed than the Spitfire. But it's still a great knife. I really like this one. Then going on to some of my other knives, there's the Benchmades. I got a couple of them here. There's the 940 right there. Now you're getting into what used to be a proprietary lock with Benchmade, the Axis lock. Now you see it all over the place. But they really had the market cornered for a while on this cool locking mechanism that you didn't have to go across the blade. It's not a back lock, so it is very fidgety. Very fidgety. You can just open and close it just using that lock, because you really don't have any detent once you pull that axis back. If you want to flick it out, you can still do that because the spring on the axis allows for a little bit of detent. But yeah, it's a great fidgety knife. Good work knife. It's got the purple on there, the green. I really like this one. Not a huge fan of Benchmade. I like their designs. The prices, I'm kind of in that camp. I know a lot of people really like them and they want to spend that money, and I'm good. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to get mad at them. But for me, I got a couple in my collection. This one, and I got the bug out. I did this bug out. I put on my FOMO video a while back, where everybody was talking about that Benchmade bug out and what it was all about. Now, when I got it, it didn't have these handle scales on it, but it had those plastic grivery ones. And it's great because it's so light and so thin. But I didn't like how the handles felt, and I didn't like how they flex so much. So I got these G10 handles from Titanium, and it made a world of difference. This is a great little knife. Certainly if you're wearing gym shorts, you need something that's not really very big in the pocket. Really good knife, and of course that axis lock is a great action. So those are my two Benchmades, and all of Benchmade knives are USA made, and that's part of the reason why that price range goes up, I think. Now, a company that makes a lot of USA made knives and also makes them from overseas, like Taiwan and like Japan and different places, that would be Spyderco. I really like Spyderco. They can be pricey. Definitely some of the new ones coming out are definitely up there. And but you can still get some of these ones that are USA made, and they actually say that they are made in Golden, Colorado, and they're made USA Earth. And so that's what they put on all their USA made knives, as far as I know. This is the PM2, just classic. This is another one that was kind of a FOMO knife. Everybody had one. Everybody's talking about it. I had to figure out what the hell was going on with it. I love this knife. This is a great knife. One of the earlier ones in my collection. Another one that has been around for a while. I couldn't just get the Yojimbo. I had to go Yojimbo. This is that Michael Janich design, and you can see again USA made. And I had to go with the big one. This thing is a beast. It's a great shape. I got a video coming up having to do with this blade shape because I really like it. I got a couple knives that I'm gonna show together and kind of compare. Anyway, Yojimbo. So that's another great Spyderco knife. And more recently, and I did a video on this one, the Manix 2. It's got that ball bearing lock, very much like an axis lock. I think they made this one prior to the patent running out on the axis, because it really isn't an axis lock. It's got a different thing going on where there's a ball that gets pushed into a slot in the back of the knife right here, and then when you open it, it clicks into place and it locks into it. So it's different design. It doesn't have the Omega springs. You can actually see, if you look in there, if I can catch the light just right, there's a spring back behind the pull there. That's a different kind of spring. It's more like what you would see in like a shark lock or something like that. Just a regular kind of spring. Manix 2 is a great knife. And another Spyderco Golden, Colorado Earth, USA Earth knife. So I really like Spyderco, so I'm kind of looking forward to getting another one pretty soon. So maybe you'll be seeing a video on that before too long. Going back into some other companies, there's Hogue. This is the Hogue 6 Hour. I actually won this. This is one of those, if you watch B's Blades live at the Hive, he had a lot of giveaways that were put together by Top Dog, another name you should know. And this was one of those packages that was put together by Top Dog, and I won this one with a whole bunch of other cool stuff. He always has stickers. I got a Top Dog Hank. That's really cool. And I got this knife. Might have even been a 4th of July thing or something like that, because it was very USA oriented giveaway. So USA S30V. This is a cool knife. It's a little bit small on the blade for me, but it's got that forgiveness because of the forward finger choil. And I'll always, say that I'm willing to have a smaller knife if I have that little choke up spot, if I want to get that good full hand grip on it. Great knife. Then another knife by Hogue. Here, which is the Hogue by Doug Ritter. This is the Doug Ritter RSK. And it has very much an access-like style to it. They use a different name. I can't remember all the different names. I pretty much call them like crossbar lock. Once everybody started making them, because everybody had their own name. And, you know, like I said earlier, names are hard. I just can't remember them all. Great knife. I bought this last year when they were doing the Knife Rights marathon. And they were talking about, you know, I always kind of wanted one, but I didn't realize that there's only one company out there where you can buy it. And now I'm blanking on that name. Maybe I'll come up with it as the video comes through. Or maybe I'll just throw it in a little comment before I post this. But anyway, I think most of you probably know where to go to find these knives. USA made, great quality knife. G10's really milled really nice here, so it's got great grip to it. Another great USA made knife. Now another company that's now I don't have a lot of these. This is the only knife I have from ZT, but it's a very well known knife, and this one is actually designed by Rick Hinderer. You can kind of see it there. This is the 0562. This is the Thai version, titanium handled version, and USA made. And I really do like this knife. I know a lot of people are unhappy with ZT's more recent stuff. I'm kind of in the same boat. This looks like it's got a thumb stud. Doesn't work for a thumb stud. But I love the grind shape on this one. This is the way it expands out. It's just not a straight line across the top edge there. It comes up and gets this real deep, wide, flat up near the end of the blade. I really have always appreciated that. It's got a great look to it. You can tell it's got a Hinderer vibe to it. Very nice knife. And this is one that I've always taken with me every year to Blade Show. Ever since my first Blade Show I went. So it's been kind of a tradition, and I think I'll always continue to do that. Great knife. Really like it. Some people think it's just too plain or too common, because you know you see these quite a lot around, but I still really like that knife. Another company that I love, but mostly they're making automatics for the most part. ProTech. But this is the Malibu, and you can see here, I've talked about this before. Get a nice focus on it. Come on now. Come on. There you go. You can see Blade Show West 2021, 65 of 100. So this is a collector's edition, and it's got this very cool button on it. It's like got a mosaic pin design in there. And yeah, I wanted one of these for forever, and they were so hard to find because they always sold out really fast. Blade Show, they had them available. I ran to the table, first place I went, and I managed to score this guy. And I am happy to have at least one ProTech in my collection. I hope to eventually maybe get a Run 5, because that's California legal. But you know, I'm not big on having automatic knives that I can't carry, so you know, I think they have a few others that are not automatic. I'll have to take a look up, but they're not cheap knives. It does cost a bit of money, and so this is one that I splurged on because I had wanted it for so long, and I finally got it, and I have no regrets. Okay, so ProTech, another great USA knife, like ZT, like Benchmade, that all their knives, as far as I know, all their knives are made in the USA. Another company in that same category would be, here it is, Medford Knife and Tool. And this is the Micro Praetorian. I did a video on this a while back, talking about smaller knives. I got a great deal on this one. I've always liked Medford knives, but the price on them is just a little bit out of my range that I've been willing to swallow up till this point. I think eventually, because that seems to be creeping up and up and up, that I think eventually I will decide to go ahead and drop more money, especially since I've gotten this one in my collection. Even though it's a small knife, I just really like that overbuilt blade shape. The quality of it is really good, even in the small knife. I really enjoy it. So Micro Praetorian Medford Knife and Tool, another all USA made knife company. This one, I was thinking about whether or not I should bring it out, and you may not recognize it. It's not very common as far as I know. I sometimes go out to Arizona to visit family, and they have a knife shop there in Tucson. And when I go there, I always visit that knife shop. I always buy something that I can't find, at least in a store in California. And this one is a little California legal automatic out the front. I think this is the only, I believe this is the only out the front I have. Very snappy. Very snappy. If you don't recognize it, it's called the Rogue, and it is from a company called M3 Tactical. Now, you may be aware that there was some question as to whether or not M3 Tactical was making their knives all in the USA, or if they were getting some parts from other places. I don't know. I'm not sure. So I'm just going to say that it's possible that that may be true. There's a little emblem there. But I don't know. And I like the knife. I think it's good quality, but you know, it's kind of unfortunate that there is that, question mark out there on the company, but they still claim that their knives are USA made knives. So I put that out here in that category. Last blade show I went to Atlanta. TRM Knives, Three River Manufacturing, was a company I've always wanted to get a knife from. And so here it is, the Atom. And they are another USA made knife company. And boy, it really surprised me how many. I think I have 18 USA made knives. And they're all, pretty darn. There's no knife here that I'm really unhappy with. Certainly the lower price ones are a little bit, you kind of forgive a little bit on those, but this one was definitely a more expensive one. Kind of fits that bill, that reputation of USA made knives, because you had to spend a little extra money. This one is the most money I've spent on a single knife. But I went to Blade Show. I've been thinking about it, talking about it, and said to myself, this is a knife that I'm going to pick up. I just had decided. I just made that decision. Because of the fact it's another one where you can't usually get them, like that ProTech, the Malibu. You can't usually get them because it's so hard. I mean, you have to really be on the drops, really be paying attention, and my attention span is just not that great. So, and I've had bad experiences with trying to buy things on drops and have like my websites crashing and stuff like that. So sometimes it's just a little bit hard to do. But then if you go to Blade Show, a lot of times you can pick up a beauty like this and you can buy it right there on the spot. And sometimes you can get a little bit better price. I think that this one might have been a little bit better than what you would see online. And anyway, great knife. I really like this one. Moving on to the fixed blades. This is a Bradford Guardian 3, and it is very awesome. Got this one Blade Show. That was last year at Blade Show West. Got my tickets for Blade Show West this year in October, and I'm pretty excited about that. Being in California, it's a little bit more local, less cost for airline tickets, so I can spend more money on knives, right? That's the way it works in my mind, at least. Guardian 3 from Bradford. And then here's another one. I wasn't really sure about it, but then I got out the packaging for this one, and it did say that it is made, if you can see it, made in Idaho Falls, Idaho. I was thinking this is a really reasonably priced knife. This is the Essie Azula. Really, Azula. It is a reasonably priced knife. Of course, it's a fixed blade, so it's a little less expense to make, especially since before I put the paracord on here, it was kind of skeletonized. I mean, it was skeletonized. So it really didn't have, you know, a lot going on, just kind of a piece of metal that obviously is heat treated, obviously cut out for weight reduction. Very lightweight knife, great for backpacking, that kind of thing. Got that paracord on there, and hey, in a pinch, if you need a paracord and you didn't have anything else, you can always unwrap this thing and use the paracord. But it took me a while to put that paracord on, so I'm hoping I never have to do that. So I'll just keep some paracord around. Nice sheath, snaps in. There's a little pocket dropper. Just kind of hook this thing on the outside of my pants pocket, and I got it there. Can pull it out, put it back in. Great knife. And then this one I bought from Donnie B all day. K-Bar, always wanted one. U.S. made. Another very well-known U.S. company. Made in, it says Olean, New York. So, yep, that was my more recent fixed blade purchase, and I am just digging this knife. I'll use it to sometimes I'll do a little fire. Maybe you've seen videos of me making a little fire in my barbecue to get the coals started, and I'll use this knife a lot of times to get that fat wood, you know, the curls off the fat wood, and it just works really well. So anyway, there you go, bunch of cool USA made knives. It was fun for me to kind of go through my collection and find how many I had, and to just enjoy the fact that you know, I've said many times I like to purchase my knives, USA made knives, and keep that money in the United States if possible. I buy a lot of other country knives, but this is my preference of where I want to spend my money. And I was happy to see how many great USA knives I had in my collection. I hope you enjoyed this, and hope you guys... Oh, I wanted to mention, and I think this is going to be posted too late. It's probably going to be afterwards, but Nick Edwards, Behind the Edge, he's got a members-only giveaway that's going on tonight. Probably by the time I get this thing uploaded to YouTube, because I'm doing this on Sunday, and Sunday night at 9 o'clock, and I think he's Eastern time. He'll probably have it already over with. So sorry about that. I procrastinated, but he has great giveaways, so don't miss out on the next one. Become a member, at least sub over on his channel. Patreon, I know he's going to do a giveaway on Patreon, and he's got a really cool giveaway for his 2,000 subs, and it's going to be a TRM, not the Atom, a smaller version of the TRM, but go ahead and check that out on his channel. Sorry, Nick, I probably got this out too late, but I still want to let everybody know that Nick has a great channel. So, hey, you guys take care, and I will see you next time.